Hello, this is RICKY, the Android guy. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Android Weekly / Android Q&A, where we give you all latest news that happened during the week, as well as everything that you want to get answered. So if you're new to the show, we'll go over the mobile news first, and we'll answer questions that were emailed to me during the week. If you have a question you would like to be answered, just email me at asktheandroidguy@gmail.com, and hopefully your question will be answered next week. If not, though, you can always tune in live, and at the end of every show, I answer all questions that are left in the comment section down below live. All right, let's get started with the big news this week, which is the Galaxy S7 release date. Yes, Sam Mobile, which is a hugely trusted source, has their source that, yes, although the S6 was announced March 1st and released April 10th, this time it is going to be moved up. Supposedly, it can be moved up as soon as January announcement with a February release. This is about a 2-month earlier span compared to what it normally is. So this is pretty big for Samsung to step it up this reason. And the reason is that, that they kind of are doing this earlier, since the Note 5 did it earlier. Now they're going to do it again with this one. Now, the S7 was originally called Project Lucky, but it is now being called Project... I think in this one it said it. So there is 2 devices confirmed, and their code names are now Hero and Hero 2. So if you ever see anything on blogs talking about Hero and Hero 2, this is what they're talking about. So the idea behind these 2 devices is that, yes, they're going to be the new flagship devices out in the market. It's really curious to see what will change. Now, apparently there will be a dual camera, which is interesting. And most likely there will be a regular display and a curved display, much like the Edge display combo that is currently going on. Now, there's 2 different prototypes running, both with 4 gigs of RAM, but the 2 different prototypes, one has Qualcomm chips and one has the octa-core from Samsung. So it's interesting to see which one will Samsung end up going with. This is really curious. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Which one do you think Samsung will go with? And yes, I mean, for this early release date, what do you guys think? Do you like that Samsung is pushing the envelope and getting it earlier out? I mean, I'm really curious, because if this announcement is in January, that could be as early as it being announced at CES, which is the first week of January, which we will be there to see Samsung's announcement. So we'll see what is up. All right. In the second bit of news, iOS is being hit hard with malware. Yes, the Xcode Ghost has been hitting it, and if you are on iOS, do not download any of these apps, which Cam Scanner is awesome. So it's like it's amazing that you can't download a lot of these apps because all these apps are being affected. So Angry Birds 2, Cam Scan, Data Monitor. I mean, all these just basic apps that Apple cannot stop from getting hacked. There should be a patch coming relatively shortly, but it's always funny because people always say, oh, Android is so, you're open to viruses, but there's no difference. The difference is there's more Android phones, so viruses are made more often for Android. But if Apple continues to gain popularity, then you better believe there's just going to be just as many viruses for Apple, because it's actually easier to develop a virus for Apple than it is for Android. And some other big news. I was actually at this event. So if you saw my Instagram, you actually would see that I was at the event where the new Gear VR was announced. Samsung was actually kind enough to send me a VR. Well, we got to pick them up at the event. So that was pretty cool. So that's really nice. Who knows? Might do a giveaway on a VR later. What do you guys think? Would you guys want a free VR? Let me know. It's the S6 VR, so S6 and S6 Edge work with it. But yeah, so maybe when we get to 100,000 episode, or sorry, 100,000 episode, 100th episode of Android Weekly. We're already on 77, not too far off. Maybe we'll do that. But the new VR is unfortunately not the one we got, but the new VR will be a consumer version, and only $100, and it'll work with all current 4 flagship devices. So let me switch it back just so you guys can see the visual. So it'll work with the Note 5, Edge Plus, Edge, and S6. So it'll work with all of these, and it will work with the new Gear VR. It has better ventilation on the bottom too, which is really nice, just so it can breathe more easily, and it won't get fogged up as easily. But the big news about it is the content that I got to experience while I was there. It's also 22% lighter. That's important to note as well. But the content is the real big thing. So Netflix is official. I actually got to try out the Netflix app, and it was a really cool, great experience. You're basically in a cabin, and you're viewing a huge TV, and it's Netflix. So you're actually seeing Netflix on your Gear VR. It's a really great experience because it's very immersive. So when they gave us these headphones to put on, it was really cool. They also had this really cool thing called Vimo, and it wasn't the Vimo that I know, but the idea behind it was that you could actually watch a video in a group. It was an app that they called Social, which is in alpha testing right now, so it's not even a beta yet. There's no people outside of Samsung that have this, but the idea is that you can actually be in the same Wi-Fi network and actually interact and talk to other people right then and there. Now, it's a really cool concept, and it was really fun to you're all in a movie theater together and you can talk about whatever movie you're watching. Now, granted, the videos that they had there were cat videos and people dancing and all this kind of stuff. But I saw the future of VR here, because think about it. How great would it be if I couldn't go to a movie theater with my friends, I could be in our own movie theater. We all have a Gear VR on. We're all putting it in different parts of the world, different parts of the state, or just even in the same city, but not in the same house. And we're all watching the movie together, all talking smack, oh, did you see that scene? That is the future of VR. The fact where you can create social interaction with people that are not there. That is the future of VR. Not only that, but to get to that level and then move it further with such things as sports. Can you imagine watching an NFL Super Bowl live while it's happening with all your friends and family, and you're in different parts of the world? You're all watching it together, all talking smack. You can see an avatar of that person. It would be insane. That is what I feel the future of VR will be, and we got a glimpse of that, and it's really cool. But the Gear VR is working with a lot of them, so you're gonna see a lot more. I also saw Twitch there as well. So Twitch was pretty cool. You could see the feed on the right side and different Twitch channels. Now, this did have some interference on the last day because of TwitchCon, but it really did work fairly well. So that was a really cool concept, just to kind of see what is already official and everything that's coming. So the fact that we're really picking up all these ones is really exciting, and definitely exciting for Gear VR. I'm really excited, more than I have been for almost 6 months, for Gear VR and the potential. When we first heard Netflix was coming, I was excited. Then nothing happened. Now we're finally getting this content, and I couldn't be happier. All right. In other news, Samsung Mobile has hit yet again. So mobile market share we don't really care about. Let's go to smartphone market share. So it is now 21% of the global market share in smartphones. So a little over 1 out of every 5 phones sold is a Samsung. A little under 1 to 5 is an Apple. So they're at 14%. And then you have Huawei at 9%, and then a couple little other different countries at different percentages. But yeah, so Samsung dominates, especially Europe, especially Asia, and a lot. Well, I would say Middle East and Russia, Asia. Huawei definitely dominates China and certain Asian countries there, and then Apple, of course, dominates the U.S. So you kind of just get an idea of everything that each country dominates for the most part. And yeah, so this is where everything kind of ends up laying out in terms of the global market share. Lastly, I just wanted to close with Pebble Time. Pebble Time is a new smartwatch that just was announced. Again, I have not been a fan of Pebble recently. I didn't really care for the Pebble Steel and the Pebble Time. I'm not that much of a fan of it. This one is a 2-day battery life, but and it's the thinnest smartwatch out there. 2-day battery life. It has 3 buttons on it, but my main thing is it's not good looking. Those bezels are hideous to me. I don't like it. Maybe you do. It just could be me, but I don't care for it. That's just me, at least. All right, guys, let me go to the questions that were emailed to me during the week. Again, if you have a question you would like to ask, just simply ask at the bottom down below in the comment section, and just ask whatever your question might be. All right, let's get to the questions that were asked during the week. The first one is from, I'm not going to Kyung. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, so I just don't want to butcher it. Kyung? I don't know, hopefully. I like to know if the Note 5 has a protective film of the rear camera when I just bought it. I saw some websites that it should be, but when I bought the Note 5, I haven't removed it. If yes, should I remove it? Well, it's a preference. I mean, the idea is that you're not going to get any dust on it, but it's the outside of the camera. It's not actually the lens. The lens is not covered up by a film, so it's only around the lens. I usually get rid of it. I just don't like any plastics, because what could end up happening is if that lens is covered up slightly by that film at any point, what ends up happening then, of course, is that film then messes with your focus. So that's why I would get rid of it. But yeah, there's no really need why to keep it on there. It's more of just a packaging thing. So when you're sent the package for it, that's how it is. All right. I saw your video on, Anastasia. I saw your video on YouTube and I have a question. I got the S6 and I want my texts to display on the lock screen. When I just swipe to the unlock screen, they show. But when I put a lock, like directional lock, which I really like, they won't show them. Is there a setting to possibly do this? Unfortunately, with directional lock, it takes up most of the lock screen. Now, you can have it, you can make sure that all your settings are set so that you show content, and that is just in the lock screen settings. So let me kind of go through it with you. So if we go into settings, lock screen settings, and not show information, notifications. Make sure your content, let me turn this brightness down. Make sure your content is show notifications, show content, and then the apps that you want to allow to show the content is available. So that's all that you can do, unfortunately. Besides that, the directional lock screen will decide if you can or cannot have that ability. And it's something that, unfortunately, it's just certain lock screens do have it and certain lock screens don't. And that's all there is to it. All right. Door asked, where did 64 bits go? So I like this question. He was, 2 years ago, there was a really big hype over the 64-bit technology, right? And then it was started by Apple because they were the first ones that had it, and no one really cared. Simply for the fact that no apps utilized 64-bit technology until this past year with iOS. No, actually, I think it was iOS 8. iOS 8, because iOS 7, I believe the 64-bit technology launched. iOS 8, a year later, is when Apple was like, all right, if you're going to make new apps for our App Store, we mandate you make it 64-bit compatible. What that means is that it can utilize 64-bit, which makes it 10% faster for the apps that actually utilize it. Same with Android. But now we have, so here's the thing. So people said that, oh, it doesn't really matter until you have 4 gigs of RAM. The reason 64-bit architecture was made instead of 32-bit, one of the main reasons, was because we wanted more RAM, and 32-bit architecture chips could not support it. So now we have 4 gigs of RAM Samsung devices, but 64 bits a non-issue. What is the truth behind this whole thing? Is it a real big change if it ever comes back to phones? Actually, so here's the thing. All current smartphones are 64-bit architecture. The Qualcomm chips that came out this year, all 64-bit. The Samsung phones that came out this year, all 64-bit. So it didn't go away. It actually was fulfilled. The prophecy was fulfilled. The 64-bit architecture came and is now available on all devices. So all devices have 64-bit chips, all flagship devices. Some of the other ones do not, but all of them do have 64-bit chip architecture. And again, besides the RAM, it speeds it up about 10% faster. When it does have the ability to use the RAM as well, then you're talking about faster process. So yes, that's it. Sean asks, I have a Note 5 on the Sprint network, and I cannot find Smart Manager, and I cannot find Download Booster. It's also MIA. So here's the thing. You do not have them. They were not pre-installed because Sprint chose to not have those two features available on their smartphones. This was actually interesting because Download Booster was originally available on the S6 and Note 4 last year, but Sprint did take it away from the Note 5 and Edge Plus. So it's just something that Sprint took away. Can they add it? Absolutely, they can add it at some point, but as of right now, they do not have it available. You will get an update this week on your Note 5 for Samsung Pay, so maybe these features might be added to it if Samsung negotiated it over with Sprint. Smart Manager was another thing that, again, it was taken off by carriers. So if you do not have it on your device, it's simply because the carrier decided that it was they did not want it. As far as I know, Smart Manager is on AT&T and T-Mobile, but I don't believe it's on other carriers. So it's only on those two, as far as I remember. All right, let's get to the comment section. Again, if you have a question, just ask it right now in the comment section down below, and I will get to it now. All right, Kronos. Hey, what's up, Kronos? How many devices can I have connected to an Android account at one time? I reach my limit. Will they block future devices? You can have an endless amount. I myself have an insane amount. I really do have just so many devices connected to my Android account. Every single one of them I signed up through my same Android account. So yeah, I have at least over 50, at least. So no, you won't reach a limit. What you can reach a limit on is things like Android Music, or Google Music rather. So Google Music, you can only have 10 active devices. You can remove them, but you can only remove 4 per year. So this ran into trouble with me because obviously I use more than 4 per year. So when this happened to me and I was like, Google, what the hell? I called them up and they actually removed them anyway. It is not normal for them to do so, but because I explained the situation, I'm like, look, I'm a YouTuber. I'm trying to use your app to display music, but you need to remove these. They did, and it was all done. So yeah, that's what happened. So that's all there is to it. Do you know of a solution when I get into a car, Google Music app always starts playing? It sometimes scares me because I don't know it's going to happen and the music will be very loud. That has to be a setting that you set up. Yeah, it's not going to happen on its own. It's some kind of setting you set up. So maybe it's like like the if app, IFFFF. Like, so if this happens and this happens, it could be something with your phone. Samsung, Motorola, HTC, all of these apps have things like when you're home, this is going to happen. When you're driving, this is going to happen, and other features like that. So it could very well be that. Some carriers even have that where Sprint will like switch to a certain mode, so you can't text while driving, but that might launch the music app. So it just depends on what app you have placed, but something is doing that to Google Music, because Google Music cannot do that on its own. I'm going to check it right now just to make sure. But as far as I know, Google Music cannot do anything like that on its own. Your devices. No, there's nothing that Google Music can do to do that. So yes, it's not Google Music on its own. Kronos, do you think that Samsung will bring back AirView on all their flagship devices to combat Apple 3D Touch? So here's the thing. If you haven't seen my 10 hidden features on the Note 5, or 10 more hidden features, I should say, on the Note 5, I did explain how that the Apple, Force Touch technology, although it is new to Apple, Samsung had a similar thing without ever touching the screen before called AirView. The thing is no one used it. Will they now bring AirView back because Apple 3D Touch is now being talked about and everything like that? It's a possibility. It definitely is. But I would see how much 3D Touch actually catches on with the masses before Samsung will do that. Unfortunately, because of the way Samsung is, I see them possibly even copying Apple with that, just adding 3D Touch as well. That kind of annoys me. I really wish that they would stick to their own thing, like AirView, and yeah, possibly bring that back and implement some of the things that Apple did, kind of like so when you hover over the one that I thought was kind of cool is like, oh, when I hover over the phone icon, then it'll have my 4 favorite contacts, or when I hover over the camera, it'll launch right to the front camera. Yeah, the things are kind of cool, but really Force Touch is a combination of a long press and a widget, which Android already has, both of those. It's just a different way of doing it, though, so that is what Apple created, a new way of doing an existing feature that is already available on Android. So yeah. All right, guys. Not that many questions as normal this week, or maybe it's just kind of laggy. Let's see. Nope, no more questions. Yeah, guys, had a really fun weekend. Did all that stuff last week with the Gear VR stuff. I'm hoping to finally have the solution on how to record what I'm viewing in the VR, because screen mirroring went away with the last set. So hopefully I will have something to be able to show you guys to mirror all the new Samsung Gear VR stuff and Gear content. What else? In 2 days, on Tuesday, we do have the Google announcement, so we'll have that shortly. We'll also have, what else are we going to have? We're going to have the Google announcement shortly. And then we're also going to have on the 30th our announcement for who won the backdrop for the webcam. So make sure to stay to that as well. All right. Is there just no other questions today? I'm hoping the chat is doing okay. I know it says the streaming is just okay right now. The quality is kind of lagging back and forth. It might be because I'm downloading something on the side, new firmware to make my international S6 work with my new Gear VR S6, because I'm switching out my S6 Edge to the Note 5 64 gig. I can't take 32 gig that Samsung sent me anymore. I need a 64 gig bad. Unless Samsung you're watching and you want to send me a 64 gig, by all means, go ahead and do that, and I'm fine with that. All right, guys, lots of new stuff coming out. We have the iPhones that arrived this weekend in the studio. So I just got back from, I just reached my 5-year anniversary with my fiance. So I just got back from a weekend, a little romantic weekend. We had fun, and I'll post some stuff on Instagram, so check out that. And it'll be pretty nice. So we'll have that. What else? We're gonna have a lot of comparisons between the iPhone 6s and 6s Plus to the Note 5, Edge Plus, S6, Edge, 6 Edge. All those will be compared shortly. So yeah, will you be? So I will be getting the S6 models, and we will always compare them to the latest Android. So look, we got the G4, we got the M9, we got all the Samsung devices. My sources tell me LG is also coming out with a new phone in October, so we'll compare it to that one too. But yeah, we get the iPhones every year. So we already have them. We got the rose gold for the S6 Plus, and we got the space gray for the S6s. So yeah, we will be comparing them to the latest Android models and seeing just how they do compare, camera comparisons, everything you think of, they all go up. So yeah, that'll be coming out soon. Just turn my car and turn it on Bluetooth. Playing the music unless. Okay, so it could be your car. So you just said you just ran to your car, turned it on its Bluetooth that Google Music connects to, and it starts playing. It could possibly be your car that your car has it set to autoplay as soon as it connects. So check in the settings of your car to see in there, and there's a setting option if that is a feature that your car has. Some cars might do that. I haven't heard of that, but it's definitely possible for a car to completely take over your phone and start playing the music as soon as you connect to it because it thinks it's being convenient, although it might not be convenient in your case. All right, guys. I guess that'll be it. We might call it a short episode today. Had a long weekend, so that's not such a bad thing. But yeah, a lot of fun, a lot of videos coming up over the next couple weeks, guys. So make sure to stay tuned. We have some reviews. We just reviewed the Moto Hint. We have a Samsung Pay video going up as well. That should actually go up tonight. I'm gonna make sure my editor puts that up tonight. Samsung Pay, how to use it. It's amazing. We'll talk more about it this week because it launches tomorrow. So if you have an S6 and up, you should be getting the update to have Samsung Pay on your phone. It's amazing. Everyone should use it. Make sure to stay tuned for that. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. This has been RICKY, the Android Guy.